So as I was saying, there are some people who have some guts, who are willing to say the truth and who are willing to speak the truth, even though it could cost them opportunity. So this, and I don't want to mispronounce, but I probably will. This is Anand Giridharadas, and he is Time editor at large, also an author. So he was on with Joy Reid earlier, and in his tweet while posting this clip, he said, "This is a wake-up moment for the American power establishment. Many in this elite are behaving like aristocrats in a dying regime, including in media. It's time for many to step up, rethink, and understand the dawn of what may be a new era in America." So let's listen to what Anand had to say.
Last night was a historic win that I think a lot of us are still struggling to understand. It's not historic only because Bernie Sanders is now decisively proving that he can win in milk-white America and in the emerging superpower of color that we are becoming. Something is happening in America right now that actually does not fit our mental models. It certainly doesn't fit the mental models of a lot of people on TV. It doesn't fit the mental models of a lot of people in the parties. It doesn't fit our cultural mental models. You have someone talking about, in a way we have not heard, genuine, deeper democracy, popular movements, human equality in a meaningful way, and a politics of love in the tradition of Dr. King, and winning elections in America, the United States of America. And I just have to say, and I've been encouraged watching you on air talk about your own rethinking of things, which I think we all have to do to be in this work. I think this is a wake-up moment for the American power establishment. From Michael Bloomberg to those of us in the media, to the Democratic Party, to donors, to CEOs, many in this establishment are behaving, in my view, as they face the prospect of a Bernie Sanders nomination, like out-of-touch aristocrats in a dying aristocracy. Just sort of, how do we stop this? How do we block this? And there is no curiosity. Why is this happening? What is going on in the lives of my fellow citizens in this country? They may be voting for something that I find it so hard to understand. What is happening? What is happening? This is a moment for curiosity in America. I think about this network, which I love, which you love, and I think we have to look within also. Why is a lobbyist for Uber and Mark Zuckerberg on the air many nights explaining a political revolution to us? Why is Chris Matthews on this air talking about the victory of Bernie Sanders, who had kin murdered in the Holocaust, and analogizing it to the Nazi conquest of France? The people who are stuck in an old way of thinking, in 20th century frameworks, in gulag thinking, are missing what is going on. It is time for all of us to step up, rethink, and understand the dawn of what may be, frankly, a new era in American life.
I just want to clap and cheer and scream it from the top of this building. Bravo, Anand. That took guts. That took bravery. He called out what is happening on MSNBC. He spoke truth. He talked about the fact that the establishment needs to wake up to what is actually going on in this country. What did you think about that clip?
That was really good. Yeah, I hadn't seen that. I don't know who that was, but I really liked him because he actually was really well spoken and was good at conveying ideas that I have trouble with. But the fact that, like, I don't know, he mentioned something about Joy Reid coming to terms with some that I don't know if that's true or not. But
yeah, so we'll play that next.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. So but it was really refreshing to see him he covered several points, not just he covered MSNBC, how they just bring on rich people to tell us how all these poor people are wrong. He pointed out how we have billionaires running. He pointed out how just the establishment, including the media he's on, needs to either, essentially he's hinting at they need to wake up or they're about to go away, essentially, which is what's happening. So that was very refreshing to hear that all nicely encapsulated in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great clip. Follow him on Twitter for sure. He needs, support for having stood up against the network that was having him on. Just took a lot of guts, said really amazing things. Great stuff. Yeah, so let's actually give some kudos to Joy Reid. Let's go see what she had to say.
Oh boy.
So Owen, Higgins, who I think he writes for Common Dreams, I think. Yeah, Common Dreams. Making sure I switch that. So he tweeted, Joy Reid as the first domino to fall was not on my spreadsheet.
Well, you know, and I don't know who the lobbyist is, but I will defend my friend Chris Matthews that I don't think that he was trying to make a sort of, you know, anti-Jewish sort of, you know, disparagement of Mr. Sanders. I think that what Chris, who I've known for a long time, I think what he's speaking to is that there is like a cultural revulsion to the idea of socialism among people of Chris's generation. You know, I hear it a lot, and it's interesting to me that for a lot of people, it's reflexive. It's you know, they grew up with the anti-USSR, you know, conditioning of this country post-World War II. That is who we always were. Even myself as a Gen Xer, we grew up doing the drills. I grew up in Colorado where we were 50 feet from ground zero until we will be nuked if Russia, you know, bombed us. So I think and you know that in America people merge communism and socialism into sort of one big bad other. And so I wouldn't, you know, go there with Chris. But I will say this. I think that one of the biggest tricks, one of the greatest tricks ever pulled on the world is for really rich people to convince the world that just being really rich made you superior to other people and got everyone to buy it, right? They got poor people to buy it. You know, Donald Trump is only known because people thought he was rich. They weren't even sure he was rich. He didn't even confirm he was rich. But all he had to do was seem rich. I was growing up, people eagerly watched other rich people just live their lives in their homes and thought that was amazing. We have Real Housewives and we watch people we perceive as rich walking around. Rich people have managed to do that, and while we're all watching them entertain us, they are taking the courts. They are taking Citizens United. They've taken our politics. They've taken this country. Donald Trump isn't out there helping working class people. He's making them broke while they are worshiping rich people who are getting rich. And so it is a trick. And I wonder if you think that maybe the Bloomberg on the one end of the spectrum and Bernie on the other is a sign that the spell is broken. That maybe people are like, hold on a second, rich people aren't giving me anything. You know, and then even Donald Trump saying, I'll give you racism, I'll give you racism. It isn't working anymore.
That's so well put. I will.
Wow. I never, just as Owen Higgins said, I never expected Joy Reid to actually speak in that way. I mean, Joy Reid has me blocked on Twitter because she has previously not liked facts, but I have to give her kudos in this moment. Maybe she is waking up. I think Jordan would probably say that I'm being naive, but it makes me happy. Like we saw with Peter Dow, he was a total centrist and he started to kind of wake up to the truth about what's happening in this country. And what Joy Reid was just speaking on, or Joy Ann Reid, I don't know what she prefers, but what she was just speaking on is the fact that the rich people of this country have us all fooled. Income inequality is one of the reasons why Bernie Sanders has seen such a surge and why he's doing so well. He's for the working class. People are waking up to that. And apparently even people like Joy Reid are waking up to that.
Yeah, and it's, well, with the exception of the little bit at the beginning with Chris Matthews, that was because I feel like that's an irrelevant point, but that was like, if you had told me, given that what she just said and like give it to me, I'd be like, oh, that's really good. Who said that? And if you said Joy Reid, I've been like, no.
Right. Like no, she wouldn't say that.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting if we had like Peter Dow's like perfect example, like that sort of epiphany moment maybe with her. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but it seems like she could be headed that way of like, whether it's from an event, maybe she actually stepped outside of the studio for a little bit and talked to people and was like, oh, okay, I had this all wrong. And the fact that she pointed out, which this never gets pointed out, this is crazy, I forget the word now, but comparing like socialism and communism are usually like intertwined, even though they're like not similar at all in many regards. And when socialism is talked about, they have no context of which to talk about it, especially democratic socialism. So the fact that whenever that's brought up on air is always exciting, but the fact that it was specifically brought up by Joy Reid was very surprising.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.